I think
Hi.
I'm here.
Surprise.
It just said
Hi,
something was
Kelly.
muted, but it doesn't look like you're muted. So it said something about interview guest muted, but I think,
So I think that was before you started. You can hear
okay.
me, right?
All right. Let us know if you can hear us okay and hear Shari okay.
We know there's a delay,
Yep.
but
We know there's a delay and surprise, you get
hi.
Shari. We're making it an East Coast Fawny create with us tonight.
Surprise, surprise.
And we also got Josie in the background over here, who's been busting her butt downstairs in my space all day. So she does not want to be on camera.
It's just a it's a
I think
party.
she still looks adorable, but
I'm sure you look fine, Josie.
um yay, can hear both of us.
Yeah, they can.
Awesome. Yay. Well, there are already a bunch of you guys here joining us. Thank you so much for joining. Normally Kelly Marie is here and she couldn't make it tonight. She misses all of you guys. But Shari jumped in, made some kits this morning, and now it's East Coast Fawnies Create with Us.
I have to say these were easier kits to make than the last time I had to do it last minute. So
It
I appreciate
all depends on
I
what my mood is. Oh my gosh. So if this is your first time, oh, I see Rebecca in the chat.
Yes, I do.
Um, if this is your first time joining us for Create with Us, these are free mini classes that we have been hosting since 2021. And we always announce the details on Lawn Fawn's website on release day. So whenever we have a new release of products, we announce the details of the next Create with Us. We share the date, the time. There's pictures of the cards. There's already a downloadable handout. There's links to the supplies. So if you want to join us and create along, you can get your supplies in time. We tend to do these about 2 weeks after the release. That's not like set in stone because it depends on all of our schedules. But yeah, it's super, super fun. So if you're new to these, you can go back and watch all the previous ones. The replays are available. If you're just happening to see us because YouTube's sharing the algorithm, you can always come back and watch later. And I just posted on my stories and shared it to Lawn Fawns. If you love Lawn Fawn, I 100% feel confident that you have critters in your stash and you have birthday stamps in your stash.
Ah,
So, we love to encourage you guys to shop your stash. You do not need to use exactly what we're using tonight. I'm going to be using kind of a stencil we used actually in last summer's Create with Us. But I saw some people were die cutting banners because they don't have that stencil. So, please, please, please substitute, use what you have. And make sure that you tag us with what you've made. So you can tag Lawn Fawn and you can tag me, Jen Shirkus. And also down there in the grass is the link to the Create With Us page on Lawn Fawn's site so you can download the handout. I know that
it's
was a lot of information, but I got to
of
get it
the
out there.
it's pinned at
Oh,
the top
yeah.
of the chat
And
too.
Shari pinned it is a link in the top of the chat as well. So thank you guys so much. I can't believe Yuko takes a bunch of my classes. She comes to my in-person creator journey art retreats on the Cape, and this is her first time here at Create with Us.
Oh well, you've got a lot to catch up on the other ones. Not right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Later.
not right now. Where have you been, Yuko?
There's a
Oh my
whole
gosh.
playlist. Just you can go and check them out later. I don't even know how many
um,
there are. We should count them at some point. It's a lot.
well, you could probably just look at the playlist, right?
Oh, that's true. I think I
Yeah,
can.
it'll probably tell you a
Look at you
quantity.
being all smart and stuff.
Um, let's see. Kristen says, I would love to see how y'all kit them
Yay.
together. Even with the list of supplies, I still struggle to get it pulled together a little bit. That's interesting you said that, Kristen, because back in the olden days when we first started doing this, I used to always share the kitting process in like a fast speed video. So I'm putting that in my little brain. No promises, but I'm going to try to remember to do that again for the ones, or at least one of the ones we do this fall, because it is fun to see kind of how it comes together. So
Josie can write it down for you.
I'm getting the side eye.
Come on, Josie.
There's
22 videos in the Create With Us playlist.
Wow, so we've done 22. That is
amazing. This one is part of those 22 because I'm sure it's already in there. But
yeah, and Rebecca says it's been 5 years. Oh, yeah. So
you started during COVID, right? 2020?
Yeah, but I mean, the pandemic started the spring of 2020, so I don't think we did one of these until the spring of 2021. But
I don't know.
It's a lot. I know it was the bubbles. It was all the bubbles. All the bubbles.
It's a lot. And you can't look at the dates because we had to start on Facebook and we pulled them off of there. So
well, we did it for Lon Fawn's birthday because Kelly and I ate cupcakes on screen and realized we shouldn't eat on camera screen ever again. Yeah.
Not again.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We have chatted enough. We want to get creating with all of you. If you're just here for the chat, please have fun chit-chatting. And I see Rebecca is in the comments. I know Shari's going to be creating along with us, but I bet she's going to be pretty good at tag teaming and popping some stuff in the chat as well as Lon Fawn. And so, I almost forgot to use my fancy button. So let's get started. Let's get started with creating. I just realized I'm very zoomed in. So give me 1 second. We'll fix that real fast.
Everyone who's asking about flooding in North Carolina, I didn't get any rain. It's all east. Just so you know.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, but it's not also here where it's already been bad. So thank you though for asking.
And I will just mention, if you guys have questions about what we're creating or questions that you want to make sure Shari and I see, putting the word question in all caps before it just helps us as we are creating. When we glance up, it just really, really helps.
I'll try to keep an eye on it too.
Yeah. Oh, Rebecca might be right. She says, I thought it started with the 10th birthday, but I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe we pulled it together real quick. I don't know. I'll look back. We should know these things. My dad knows dates for everything, and I know dates for nothing. All right, we are going to be using the new Capybaras set tonight. I didn't use the add-on set, but you guys most certainly could kind of squeak that into the designs. These guys are so fun and they're so cute to color. They come together really nice and easy. And then we are using the new Cake It Easy and Cake It Easy add-on. If you just have Cake It Easy, you can totally make these cards work as well. But I love this set. I think this is such a useful set. Because of those adorable little number candles in 2 different sizes. You guys might be wondering why I randomly chose to make a 59th birthday card, but it wasn't random. My boyfriend Chris just turned 59 this past weekend, so I gave him this card. See? And then I literally immediately stole it back, so I would have it for tonight. And then I'll give it back to him again.
Melissa asked for the next inspiration week. It is next week. And it is a themed week like we've been doing in our after a release. So every day has a theme. I've been working on videos. So starts next week. There
you go. Can't wait to see. And then I also brought in the new Gleeful Gradients pattern papers because they're just so pretty. I love these, you guys. And because I teach a lot of classes and I kit for classes, I mean, I don't kit for classes, but I have friends that kit for me. I don't use my 6x6 paper pads as much. So I like to use them during Create With Us because
Oh yeah.
it's like a little treat for me. So we are going to be using just a couple Lawn Fawn inks. I always swatch these out for you guys because I know that there's so many different types of inks out there. So again, we want you to use what you have. So hopefully seeing the swatch will help you kind of match up to similar colors. And then I always swatch my markers for you so you guys can match them up with whatever coloring medium you guys are going to use. And then as I do with all of my classes, online and in person, I provide coloring guides. So if you haven't checked out any of my online classes and you love these guides, you can check out all of my previously released online classes as well and get even more coloring guides for your Lawn Fawn sets.
Yeah.
Yay. Melissa said, I didn't think that Chris was close to my age. I know, he ages really well. Chris ages like fine wine. He ages very well. I also didn't know that he was the age he was when I first started chatting with him that day.
All right. Number. It's just a number.
It's just a number. Exactly. It's actually really helpful to have somebody ahead of you aging so gracefully because it helps me age a little bit more gracefully too. All right, so we are going to start and jump right into coloring our capybaras. I think they're so cute. And I colored them all the same with the same colors. Basically, their outer body is going to be E33 and E31. So kind of like a warmer brown. And then their snout and their little feet are going to be E41 and E43. So a little bit more of a grayer brown. You guys can use whatever you have. I would just suggest having two different kinds of browns just to kind of differentiate their snouts and their bodies. Somebody just said there's a little bit of red. There's a bit of red in these scenes. Yep, I must have known that Shari was going to be with me.
Like pinky red, though.
Always a pinky red. Always a pinky red. Let's be honest here. All right, let's start with our larger guys here just so we can kind of get warmed up. I don't know about you guys, but I have not really colored in a while. And so I definitely need a little warm up. We'll start with these two guys that are facing the right, and I like to just add my shadow, which is my darker marker. So I'm using that E33. And I am trying to follow my coloring guides, but I already just messed up a little bit. I put some shadow on the top of his head. It's all good. It's all good.
It's fine. And I just did it because I watched you do it. So.
Exactly. See, you're not looking at your coloring guide. I try not to stray from my coloring guide so you guys don't get confused, but right out of the park, here we go.
I'll color the other one.
That's what I did. I did the other one the way. Yeah. Yay. Hello, Danielle. Oh, we got lots of people that are Chris's age in the house. I love that. Yay, yay. So once you get the shadow on these guys with your darker brown, that E33, I'm going to then take my E31 and we're just going to do one little guy at a time. And I take that lighter marker and I'm blending along the edge of where we put the darker marker down. And I do it just enough until I don't see a line from that darker marker. But you'll see I don't color anywhere else. I leave it all white because then what we're going to do is continue on with our light marker, that E31, and we're just going to fill it in all one layer. So it'll be nice and light and bright. If you're using alcohol-based markers, the more layers you do, the darker it's going to get. So Whenever I do my lightest area of whatever I'm coloring, I just want to use one layer of marker so it stays nice and light. Yay! I know I had to look up capybaras as well, like all about them and see how to color them. And that's what I love when Lawn Fawn comes out with new critters, is that I get like a little National Geographic learning time because I look them up. But yeah. So Shari, was it just, oh gosh, was it 2 weeks ago we were together already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. 2 weeks ago, Shari, Kelly Marie, and I were in Vegas for a trade show for retailers. And it was fun. It was good to be together. We had fun.
It was fun. I do not enjoy Vegas as a general rule, but it was still fun. Yeah. The company was great.
The company was great. Oh gosh, Sophie said just bigger, tanner mice. I love it. That's great. All right, so we'll do the snouts and the feet all together. We'll just kind of keep doing the outer bodies first. So the little guy that is facing the right, I typically will shadow the opposite way that they're facing because you don't usually want to shadow their faces because that's kind of like a focal point. So I'm going to shadow the right side, do a little bit on their back feet. Let's see, I did underneath their arms and a little bit on that back ear. Josie, if any of those are dry, most of them, there's more. Okay. I just kind of grabbed. I did not test. Josie's rocking it out with my class markers. Who knows what type of shape those are in. They just sit up there and look pretty nowadays.
Someone wants to know if we went to the Sphere. We did not, but we saw it a lot.
Yeah, the Sphere was like right outside our window. So like Shari would be like talking to me and then all of a sudden she'd go like, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'd look and it's because she's entranced by the Sphere.
I'd be like, it looks like a Tiffany lamp, or it looks like they had Wizard of Oz stuff going on it, which I love the Wizard of Oz, so I thought that was fun.
So Nita said, since there's no Kelly Marie tonight, there's no hints, and she put a little cryy face. But since we were just at a trade show and the independent stores that were there were allowed to share some sneak peeks on their social media, Shari and I feel confident in the fact that we could probably give a couple little hints without being put in Lawn Fawn jail.
Lawn Fawn jail sounds like not the worst place.
I mean, I think Lawn Fawn jail sounds fun.
I feel like they would still bring you treats and stuff if you were in Lawn Fawn jail.
I missed it. Are you holding Scout right now?
I am. It's thundering outside.
I thought I heard thunder over there. Okay.
Scout. And Matt's not here. He went to the movies, so I'm single parenting. So hopefully she behaves. I thought she might go hide under the bed. That's usually where she hides, but it's been a rough week in our house with the 4th of July and fireworks and all the things.
It's so hard. It's Jack was hiding under the bed during all the neighborhood fireworks. Gus, surprisingly, just sat on the back of the couch. He was not happy. He definitely did not have a happy face, but he rocked it out. I was very impressed by him.
Oh, so Rebecca has said there is a new animal, and that is correct. There is a new animal.
Yep, new animal for the fall release.
Yep. Someone else asked, do you have to be a retailer in order to go to the trade shows? This one, yes.
Yes.
I guess they can all have different rules, but...
Yeah, there's different trade shows, but for this one, it was for independent store orders. which is kind of fun because I used to go as a buyer for the store I managed here on the Cape. And then I've been going for Lawn Fawn for so many years. So it's nice to catch up with everybody. It was good. Good to see everybody.
It's harder to
Ooh,
color with a dog in your lap.
I'm impressed.
It's all right. Well, she's being steal, so
Yeah, I was. That's why at first I was like, "Is that
coloring I
Sally?"
can handle. It's the assembly that might get a little,
Yeah,
a
well,
little iffy.
maybe by then the thunder will stop. We were supposed to possibly get a bit of thunder too.
I mean, let's be honest. Scout is also afraid of flies when they fly around the house. So
She's not a very brave girl.
just no,
Courtney asked, "Is the fall and winter split up into two releases?" And yes, it will be.
it will be.
The fall release will be August 14th. Ooh, Melissa's giving away secrets. I love it. It's because they all have stores, so they were following their stores and they're getting lots of
Oh,
sneak
gotcha.
peeks.
Let's
Hmm.
see. Mouse on the broom. Mm-hmm.
um, so now I'm going to go ahead and do all of their snouts and their little front feet. And so for that, I used the E43 and the E41, which is a little bit of a grayer brown. Um, and what I did is just a little bit of that E43 just right along the outer edge of their snout. And then it looks like I kind of did on the little guy that's sitting up a little bit on the right side of his feet, and the guy that has he's standing up on all four. I did a little bit on the left. And I'm going to go ahead and shadow all my little capybaras. Um, and then I'll go back and blend. How you doing over there, Jose? Good. Josie works part time for me, so she comes down in the summer for a few different weeks to get big projects done. And so we set up downstairs. We bought a new home last year, and we set up downstairs kind of how we thought. And then now that I've been like living in it, packing orders and everything for a year, we kind of are switching it around and unpacking some more stuff and organizing more. And so Josie was very torn whether she was going to create tonight or keep working tonight. And it
The
wasn't
answer
because I'm
is always
mean and was making her.
create. Take a break and create.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm glad she's taking a break and creating.
Oh,
All right.
someone asked what kind of dog Scout is. She is a miniature dachshund. She's a black and tan. You can only see the black part right
I
now.
was going to say, she doesn't want to show her cute face. She's all nervous.
Other direction.
So I'm using that E41 and I just blend out the edge so I don't see a line from the previous color anymore. And then whatever is left white, I finish filling it in with one layer. And sometimes when I'm doing lighter colors like this, I might take that darker color again and just gently, lightly add a little bit more back in. It's really whatever look you want. Sometimes when you're doing lighter colors, once you've blended it out, you've kind of lost that definition a little bit. It all depends what mood I'm in and what look I'm going for.
Courtney has a dream of getting a dachshund and naming it Sparky. That's a good name.
Oh, thank you.
Our previous dachshund was named Penny,
Yep. She was so
but she
sweet.
came to us already named. But she was that coppery red color, so she was the color of a penny.
It worked.
It worked.
It was good.
That called
Um,
her Penny Lane. He's a Beatles fan, so that worked well.
oh, fine. So So we are going to rosy their cheeks, but I'm going to wait a little bit and let the alcohol evaporate. Because when we rosy their cheeks, you can color right over the brown, but I want to make sure that the rosy cheek sits on top and it doesn't like soak in. So I'm going to just make sure things are dry so we can move on and color something else. So let's go ahead and move on to our cakes. And for the cake part of the cakes, I'm going to be using YR21 and YR20, which you'll have to borrow mine for this job.
I don't have 20. Is it lighter?
It is the lighter of the two. Look at me
See,
pulling out a color Shari doesn't have.
you have quite a few in this list I don't have.
Of tonight's list?
Yeah, well, I had to go get one out of the marker annex of the cloth.
Oh, wow.
Well, I had to make some space for some of these other markers.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with that YR21, and we've got actually 4 cakes, right? We got the little one with the orange, the big one, and the 2 medium ones. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to shadow a little bit on the left and go under that yummy frosting. And if it's a bigger cake, I'm going to extend that shadow on the left a little bit because we've got a lot of room to work. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of these.
A lot of cake.
A lot of cake.
Yum.
Chris did not get cake for his birthday. He got pie.
What kind of pie?
Blueberry.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yep. We have Centerville Pie Company. Some of you guys might have heard of them if you're Oprah Winfrey fans. Oprah was here for one of the Kennedys' funerals, and I don't know if like they gave her a pie or she happened upon the pie place, but she fell in love with it and then like talked about it on her show, and it became like a really big deal. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but they're very good pies.
All right. I'll put it on the list of what I need to do when I come to visit you.
Okay.
Pie.
You'll have to remind me of that because I don't really love pie, so it will not be on my radar.
I'm sure there's lots of other yummy things.
Too. For sure. Let's see. Question. If using Mode Lawn Distress ink, what's a good dark green shade to go with it? What you working on, Sophie?
I was like, what are we using it for?
Maybe Rustic Wilderness. So now when you get to blending, I'm going to be using that YR20. And when you get to blending, I would definitely just do one cake at a time, because if you're using alcohol-based markers, the alcohol does evaporate quickly. So you don't want to kind of blend a little bit on one cake and move to another cake. You want to kind of complete one cake at a time. So I'm blending out the edge and then filling in. This will happen really quickly because YR's oranges are pretty light in color, so they blend together pretty quickly.
Now people just want pie. When someone says they have cheesecake for their birthday, I love cheesecake.
So back when I was a kid,
like that over pie.
My stepmother used to always ask me what I would want for my birthday, and I always liked, and mind you, I was a kid and I don't even know if I ever had real cheesecake, but I loved the Jell-O no-bake cheesecake. So she used to always make that for me.
That's what my grandmother would make. She would make one that was like fluffy.
Oh.
I don't know if she like mixed something. She probably mixed like whipped cream or something. I don't know. It wasn't dense like cheesecake, and it was no bake. She just put it in the refrigerator and it's set. And she always made it in the exact same Tupperware tray. So it was always, she knew the exact proportions of the same size, you know. But I think it was probably a mix that she added something to.
Gail says her son is going to make her an angel food cake for her on Friday because she's
Oh.
going to be 1 year older than 59. Happy birthday, Gail.
That emoji face. It's okay.
Yuko says, what's the name of the pie place? I wonder if they ship. I bet they do ship. It's called Centerville Pie Company. Centerville. Centerville Pie Company. They're open year round too, Yuko. So when you come in the fall, you can go visit. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do our frosting. So I wanted a pink frosting. I'm going to use RV21, RV10.
Oh, see, here's where I have 11.
What? You do not have RV10?
No.
RV10 is like an original color of mine.
Let me check the chart. I know it's not filled in, so I don't own it.
Wow.
But I have 11. We're going to substitute 11. See what happens.
More reasons I question this friendship, Shari.
I do have 21. Okay, continue.
I'm just teasing. All right, so we're going to do light frosting, light pink frosting. So I'm shadowing that left side, and then I'm going to kind of trace this drippy, gooey yumminess. That is official way of describing it. I'm going to come up on the top just a little bit, and I'm going to trace underneath that crease line.
Pink goo we're eating on our...
I don't know. I'm now wanting dessert. I promised Josie we're going to go for ice cream this week. I don't know. Maybe we're going to go tonight. We'll see how late
I
this
can have some ice cream when we're done. I bought some. This might have been in my indulgence this week.
There you go. Yum, yum, yum.
We're just making Rebecca want dessert. Well, you can eat, Rebecca.
I was going to say, Rebecca's not on camera. She can indulge in some dessert.
Raid the fridge. See what's there. I bought Moose Tracks ice cream.
Michelle says, when doing a 5-color or 6, we got lots of random questions tonight.
Whoa.
5-color or 6-color rainbow, what colors are best to use since rainbows are technically 7 colors? I always struggle to figure out what colors to leave out. So for me personally, and many of you guys will know my answer to this.
She leaves out purple.
If I can only fit 6, I'm leaving out purple. And I don't use red. I use pink instead of red. But if I can only use 5, I typically will choose between orange or yellow.
It would depend on how close my orange and yellow are together. If I had to do 5, I would also leave out purple. Not because I dislike purple. It's just
same.
It's the one that would go.
I don't dislike purple.
It always looks funny if there's just orange or just yellow.
Yeah. And I very rarely will you see me do a rainbow with red.
She hates red.
I don't really love it.
I like that since rainbows are technically 7 colors. However, when I do rainbow with 7 colors, I do not do indigo. I do teal.
Oh, yeah. I always do teal. Like, very rarely do I choose blue. Yeah. Very rarely. It's
Rebecca says purple's the best color. Rebecca, I did not know you were on the purple team.
Oh, Rebecca's team purple with Libby and Brienne. We'll put her in that little bucket. It's gotten to the point, Brenda just said, "Aw, poor purple." It's gotten to the point that when I do share a rainbow card and it actually has a little peak of purple, everybody comments and they're impressed that I actually squeezed it in. Because
I don't enjoy having to leave out a color of the rainbow. It bothers me. Try my hardest to figure out how to make 6 work.
I just run out of space a lot when I'm doing inky techniques. Like it's hard for me on an A2 card to fit it all in.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Well, for me, I start in the middle and work my way out. Oh, apparently your pie place does ship someone's ordering some pie.
I have a feeling that they would. Again, they got so popular after Oprah Winfrey mentioned them. So I am also hearing a little thunder in the background too. So if for some reason I go away,
It's gonna be fun.
that's going to mean Shari goes away too, because I don't really know what we'll do, but we'll figure it out.
It'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Melissa says, I often do a 4-color rainbow when ink blending. My favorite combo is spun sugar, squeezed lemonade, tumble glass, and shaded lilac distressing. So that is really pretty. All really soft colors.
Really light colors, yeah.
I often do a rainbow with just 3 colors, pink, yellow, teal. Because then when you overlap them, you get the other colors.
That's why there's no purple.
That's why there's no purple. Sometimes I go back and overlap a little pink on the teal. Sometimes. It's a special occasion when I do.
Scott, you're making this a challenge.
She's still up there.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, I don't think she has sat in my lap this long since she was a little baby.
Aww. Rebecca says send that rain your way. I don't think it's really raining. I'm just hearing thunder.
The road outside of my house is wet, but it's not. I don't see any drops really falling.
All right, so before we put our RV10 away, I rosied the cheeks with that. And I had a lot of fun rosying the cheeks. I was like, I wanted to do it a little bit differently. Instead of just little circles, I kind of put it in between this line. Like,
oh.
Yeah.
I was wondering, were you gonna? I rosied like under their eyes.
Yeah, you could definitely do that, and that is what I usually do. I was just trying to do something different, Shari. Is that okay with you?
No, it's fine. It's cute. I wasn't looking at the handout, so I'm
just teasing you.
I just did what I normally do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep people on their toes, keep them coming back for more. And then the little guy, I did the same thing, but just obviously, or the little guys, just a little bit smaller. And you can just gently dab your marker repetitively till it gets to be the shade you want, but you just don't want to be hard on your markers. Oh no, Deb has tornado warnings in the Philadelphia area. Yes, I love purple and teal together too. That is a very pretty combo for mermaiding, for sure. Okay, so now we're going to get into pinky reds. And so what I like to use for that is R35, RV13.
I do have those.
Okay, we can be friends again.
Are we going to color strawberries?
So I'm just going to start with my number candles because they're here. So on the coloring guide, I did the 59 that I had made for Chris's birthday card. I don't need another 59th birthday card for a while. So I'm now doing 36. I don't think that Bradley is watching, but one of our friends here, his name is Brad, but I call him Bradley.
Bradley looks like
this is going to be for him. He does sometimes watch, so hopefully I'm not giving away any, but we'll see. So I'm going to take the 3 and I'm just going to kind of do a very thin line on the inner parts of the curve of the 3. Very, very thin, because if you know me, I don't use a lot of red. And then on the 6, you can kind of just watch how I did it on the 9, pretty much. We're just going to do a thin line on the outer. And then I just did a very little bit around the outer part of this inner circle. Just a little bit to kind of give it some oomph. Oomph. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my RV13 and blend, trying to leave some white space. Having a gentle hand so you're not letting your marker tip kind of splush will help you kind of keep that white space. And then once I've blended, I'll fill in with this RV13.
Did you say splush?
Yep, I did. So it doesn't like splat down. Like
that is a term I haven't heard though. Splush.
I just made it up. I just made the word up.
I like it.
But you probably knew what I meant.
I did. Splush.
I can hear Josie laughing at me out of the mic.
We use the word sploot a lot.
You use it, sploot? Is that a real word?
That's when like Scout lays down with her legs out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just made up sploosh. That's what a brush tip marker does, because it's a little bit softer than her legs.
Pins, sploosh.
Yep. See the things we learned during Create With Us? Oh my gosh. Okay, then we're going to play with our party hats. So for the polka dotted party hat.
Rebecca said it sounds like a real word to her.
Exactly. Rebecca and I are always on the same page. For the polka dotted party hat, I am just coloring in the background of that hat. I'm going to leave the polka dots and the fringe at the top white, which will let you know that it's going to be glittered later.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yep, that's what that means.
I accidentally colored one of my polka dots, but I used a white gel pen to fix that problem.
That's a good fix. A good fix. And then for our striped party hat, I'm taking that R35, and I essentially want to have alternating white stripes, pinky red stripes. So on the pinky red stripes, I am just doing a thin line of that R35. Notice how I can't call it a red stripe, like it's a pinky red stripe.
You can just call it pink.
All right. Well, you're on the call tonight, so I'm trying to give you a little red love.
Thanks.
And then we'll just blend that out with our RV13. I left the pom-pom and the other two stripes white because we'll glitter those later. And then the teeny tiny party hat, I'm just going to do a little bit of R35 on the left side and a little bit on the bottom. And then we will finish that off with RV13. And then we have our strawberries. Now, I had colored my strawberries before I placed them on my card. And this strawberry kind of bothers me a little bit because the shadow is at the top of the strawberry. Yeah, so I'm pretending on this card it like fell down. That's the story I'm telling myself. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one of my strawberries with the shadow on the left and one of my strawberries with the shadow on the right. And then this won't happen this time around. I know that I'm totally overthinking it, but it did bother me after the fact. Does that ever happen to you, Shari? Are you there, Shari? Oh no. I can see you, but I don't hear you. I don't think you hear me. Hopefully everybody else can hear me. I can see her look of panic trying to figure it out in my face. And she's not on the screen, so she doesn't see my face.
I wonder if she lost power.
I don't think so, because she's still moving. But she doesn't hear me for some reason. That's so weird. But Nikki says that she can still hear me, so that's good. Let me just message Shari real quick. All right, just so she kind of knows what's going on my side. Now she might be frozen. Yeah, I think she is. Let me kick her off. Kick her off. We'll see if she calls back to come back in, you guys. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. So I'm going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We'll see if I see Shari come back. Okay. Oh, technology. Love-hate relationship with that for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and color our green tops on our strawberries. And for that, I used G02. It's a really pretty green. I've actually been using this a lot lately. So I'm going to color my strawberry tops. And I'm also going to color my little orange tops or leaves. Sorry, leaves, orange leaves. And then we can go ahead and color our oranges. So for the oranges, I am using YR02 and YR00. I think I'll have to share these with you too, Josie. This is kind of like a peachy orange color. I liked it. I thought it went really well with the warmer colors. I accidentally covered up the chat, so I wasn't seeing what you guys say. Yeah, Margot wants to know if Shari went to Lawn Fawn jail. She very much could, possibly. Yeah, she says she got kicked off. She'll come back. I love it. I wonder. Oh, good. There she is. There you are. Can you hear me?
I am. I don't know. It like froze and then it booted me.
Well, so I feel like it didn't really freeze right away, but I don't think you could hear me because I even heard you whisper, "Oh, shoot."
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying not to say anything terrible.
Well, you did. You did. And everybody thinks that you're in timeout in Lawn Fawn jail.
That's great. Now you went down? Now you're okay?
So what I did with the oranges is I just did a little bit of a shadow where the 3 little dots were, and I forgot my little orange on my cake, so I will go back and color that leaf in a second. And then I'm going to use that YR00. You're going to blend that. It blends so quick. And this is a color combo that I do sometimes go back and just dab a little bit more of that dark marker just to kind of deepen the shadow a little bit. I don't remember which one. All right, let me color that leaf on the small cake.
I missed that leaf too.
Yeah, you're following me.
Well, no, I was actually ahead.
Okay.
But now I'm caught up because I was trying to get myself back on.
Get yourself back on track.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Indy says, do not collect 100 when you pass go.
Did not.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I guess it makes sense that it let you back in, but I was like, oh, I don't know now that we're live if it lets you in.
I don't know. I had to I don't know. I had to do it like a couple of times. I didn't know if it was me or you or who knows. It's technology.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? So now we're going to color our little birdie, and I'm using Y17 and Y13. So, and remember you guys, with the smaller images like this, if you're not in the mood to use 2 colors, just color it one. It's all good. However you want to create is totally fine. I'm just adding a little shadow under the wing and a little shadow on the top of the head. And I'm going to color his beak. And then we're just going to kind of blend this out and finish it off with Y13. I also colored my flames on my candles with the Y17.
So you colored his beak the same
I did.
Yep. As his shadow? Okay.
Yep. I kept it simple, believe it or not. Every once in a while. I do that.
I'm surprised you didn't pick like 3 colors for this bird. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? No, I actually don't do 3 colors very often.
Sometimes you do on like the tiniest things, and I'm like, what?
I know. So, well, sometimes I'm in the zone of coloring and I don't realize what I'm doing. I see my friend Lisa is in the chat. She says, loving your color combos. She says, I'm kidding, so I'll create these cards later. Her and Heidi are busy kitting for Firefly Farms Creative Crate event that is in August. So I will be teaching an exclusive Lawn Fawn class. I'll be actually teaching it on Lawn Fawn release day. And we will be creating with Lawn Fawn fall release. So you'll be some of the first people to get to play with it. And in your box of goodies from Firefly Farm, you get some product from Lawn Fawn and card kits from me. So, and then there's several other brands that are teaching classes as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of tonight, but all of the details are on my website. So make sure you guys definitely check that out.
It's still available?
I'm pretty sure she still has some spots available. The link is on my classes page if you guys are looking for it. All right, so now the last thing I want to do is just dab a little bit of rosy cheek on my bird. A little RV10 never hurt you. Cute. And then what I thought we would do next is, I don't always do a ton of white gel pen details, but I'm just showing you for the capybaras, I did 3 little cheek freckles where we rosied their cheeks because there's enough space for that. And then on the little birdie, I just did 1 little dot in that rosy cheek. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm using the Sakura Jelly Roll 08 gel pen is kind of my go-to. So cute. I like when I can do, when there's enough space to do cheek freckles, like the 3 little freckles. It makes me happy. All right. I think it's time to glitter all of the things. Oh, yay. Heather says that she did the June crate with Firefly Farm, and it was so fun. I love that. Trisha's the owner of Firefly Farm, and she does a really great job with her in-person and online events. All right, so now I'm going to glitter all of the things. And by all of the things, I mean all of our stamped images right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just gently take them off of my best ever craft tape. I'm going to leave my bird on it for now because we're not glittering him. And I'm afraid I'm going to lose him.
Don't lose the bird.
Don't want to lose the bird. And the capybaras aren't being glittered, but the cakes are.
Oh my gosh, you're glittering all those things?
Yeah. And look, I have a new quickie glue pen. I had to get a new one right before we left for Vegas. Very exciting. So I'm using the Sakura Quickie Glue Pen and Lawn Fawn Prisma Glitter. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because we're a little close.
And I'm gonna wait till the end for glitter. Don't put me in Lawn Fawn gel again.
No
please.
way. You're going to wait to Stickles? That's so different.
I know we're all shocked by this information, but
So shocked.
I'm gonna go to jail.
So I like to just kind of dip it into the glitter, but because these little party hats are so small and the candles are fairly small, my trick is I actually am going to add the party hats to them, and then I have a bigger area to hold on to dip it into glitter. So I'm just going to use
capybara as your handle.
Exactly. So just a little Lawn Fawn glue tube on the capybara, and then I'm gonna add the hat.
I guess I can do that part.
Yes, you could.
All my stuff off the tape instead of just sitting here.
Might as well, right? And then I actually, since I'm doing this, I am gonna grab my little birdie, even though he's not getting glittered. He is gonna get stuck on the head of this capybara.
So one of the ones facing right.
Yes.
Bird. Okay.
Yep. And then on the bird, I'm going to do a little dot of glue and do that teeny tiny hat.
Oh, yes. That tiny hat is so tiny.
It's so cute, though. It literally makes me so smile when I put it on things. Okay, and then for the cake, one of the medium cakes, I'm going to add my number candles. Or if you're just doing the candles, there are just regular candles that come in the set.
That's what I did today.
Do that as well. Just realized.
I don't
have going to give it a minute to let that set, like the wet glue. Just because otherwise things will start moving. So what I did with the fruit is I added some glitter to the light side of the fruit, so where we didn't shadow it. So I just take my quickie glue pen and just add a little bit of glue. And then I'm not a tweezer girl, so if you use tweezers, now's a great time to use them. But I just dip straight in, straight out. I never touch my hand to the glitter, and I just tap my pen on the side of the cardstock to drop all that extra glitter away. So even these tiny strawberries, I'm just using my fingers, but you're more than welcome. Use tweezers. I've just gotten good at it over the years to just use my hands. It's just faster for me. Nothing better than a brand new quickie glue pen. It's so satisfying to use them to the last drop, and then it's so fun to have a brand new one. All right. So now that I've finished all these little fruit, I bet my wet glue has set enough that I can glitter. So on the party hats, I essentially glittered all the white parts. So the stripes and the pom-poms and the polka dots and the fringe and all the white parts of all the party hats. So cute. we have been organizing craft supplies downstairs that I have not seen in 8 years. And it gets me so inspired. I'm like, I want to create all things. And Josie's like, that's great, but let's finish organizing first.
Josie, keep her on task. Keep her on
I didn't
task.
really say that. And she's doing a really good job not making me feel bad about keeping some stuff that is so old, but I love it so much. I can't let it go.
If you can't find it anymore, though.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, yeah. It's stuff that's not around anymore. And then I'm just adding a little bit of glitter to kind of the right side of the cakes where the highlight is on the frosting. Josie's patiently waiting.
For your glitter?
Oh, yeah. She's
for the glitter bin?
She's Team Prisma. She better be, or she's going to get kicked out of the studio.
So harsh working conditions there.
She knows. She knows. She's been trying to contact HR. We so silly.
You have my number, right? You can just let me know.
Sorry, well, I don't know what Shari's gonna do, but
I don't know who I'll call, but I mean,
yeah, Josie's look at her. Josie goes like this. Shari, look at me. She goes, "I'm not Team Stickles." She doesn't have the patience. I've trained her well over the years.
You don't have to be.
Lori says, sadly, I can't stay for the class. Will I be able to access it later? Yes, 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 and yes. All of our online
other 21.
Yeah, you can go to all of the previous Create With Us's and watch them later. Dee must be using Stickles because she's, maybe she's not glittering at all. She says, I intend to not touch the glitter.
Well, I added chunky glitter to this cake, so.
Ooh, I can't wait to see. Yeah, Melissa said hostile work environment. And another Melissa says she needs a safe word. No worries, Rachel. If you're late, you can start at the beginning or catch up later. It's all good.
Stickles all right. Is a word.
We are going to move all of these aside. And we're going to work on our backgrounds next. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the 2 outside in stitched rectangles, which, I think I left. Oh, yeah. Here's my other kit. I was like, wait a minute. So if you didn't use your outside in stitched rectangles, you could just have 2 pieces of pattern paper that are cut to be 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and do some stenciling on the background. Oh, Dee says, no, Jen. I mean, I try not to touch the glitter, but I always do. LOL.
And it's Jen's fault, I'm sure.
Yeah. It takes practice. Okay. Shari, do you remember the name of this stencil? Because I didn't print the handout.
Sure. I think it's bunting background. Hold on.
Bunting
background stencils.
Bunting background stencils. Thank you. Yeah. So that's what we're using tonight. I often, in Create With Us and even in my online classes, I try to reuse supplies that we've used previously because we all got a limited budget, right? So we want to be able to dust off those supplies that we used on other projects and use them again in a different way. And we used this stencil last summer when we made ice cream treat cart cards, and we used distress watercolor pencils. So today we're going to kind of use it in a little bit more of a traditional stance than we did last summer. But I like to use the Make Art Station from Ranger whenever I am stenciling. It's just a thin magnetic board that stores really easily in the drawer next to me. I am going to start with, I'm trying to decide which background. Well, let's go ahead and start with the ombre rainbow one, which is for the card with the numbered candles. I don't know which card number this is.
Number 2.
Thank you.
Number
So card kit number 2 is what we'll start with. And I use a little bit of Tombow removable adhesive, and I add just a couple lines of it behind my pattern paper, adding it to my magnetic board. And we're going to start with the stencil that has the triangles on it. And you just want to kind of make sure that lawnfawn.com is reading the right way. You could put it backwards, but then make sure when we do the second stencil, you put it backwards so things line up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and just figure out, I'm only going to put 2 lines of banners on my background, and I am going to use the 2 smaller ones at the top, but you can really like angle your banners if you wanted to. You can go like at a little bit of an angle, you could go straight across. Really, what's fun about these is you can kind of position them however you want. I think that's super cool.
You can decorate your party however you want.
Exactly. Oh, JJ just said, adding these stencils to my cart. I call that Janabler alert right there. I love stencils because they're really not that expensive, and there are so many things you can do with them, and I absolutely love that about them. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to use Hippo, which is a gray ink, and we are going to ink blend these little triangles. And typically when you see me ink blending, I like to use a larger blending brush, but for this I am going to use a smaller blending brush just so I can kind of control where my ink is going. I always tap my brush off after I've inked up my blending brush on my ink pad, which is right underneath Shari over there. And we're just going to do a light dusting of Hippo ink, or a gray ink. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take our stencil away because we want to make sure we clean it. All right, so I'm going to just set my Make Art Station aside, and I'm just using a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to spritz on my stencil, and I'm wiping it with my flour sackcloth. This is just faster than using water because it evaporates right away, so you don't have any dampness left behind. This is great when you're using inks and you want to just quickly clean your stencil. Because what we're going to do next is we're going to bring our background back in, and we're going to kind of reline up our stencil, which is pretty easy to do. And once you get it lined up again, like let's pretend you forgot to ink blend something. Once you get it lined up again, you're going to shift it to the right ever so slightly. Do you guys see that? So here it is lined up, and then I'm just going to move it to the right just a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my magnets down in place. And now I'm going to use a white pigment ink. So I'm going to use Lawn Fawn Yeti ink. And when I'm using Lawn Fawn pigment Yeti ink, I like to use just a Ranger ink blending tool with some foam. And it doesn't need to be, it could be the flat foam, the domed foam. It doesn't matter. And this is a very loved handle. I keep it stored in my desk like foam up because it is super inky because it's a pigment ink. It basically never dries unless you add a little heat to it. And so
I went and found mine and it was still wet, and I don't even remember.
I was going to say, you might not even need to dab it into your ink pad, but I'm going to go ahead and
Well,
just dab it. And then we're going to just pounce it on top of this stencil. I like to pounce it instead of rubbing it. I just find it kind of lays the ink down faster and in a more even coverage. And you have less chance of like moving your stencil.
I like to pounce and slightly twist.
Ooh.
Because it makes it a little more even for me, at least, than
nice
spongy look.
And look how fun that
Not
is.
Not a hard twist, just a little twist.
It gives like our banners this fun little drop shadow, which I just think is so cool.
Very cool.
Something different, right? So we can clean this stencil in the same way. I'm just going to use some isopropyl alcohol. Might take a little bit more than what we had to do for our dye-based ink. I love having my flour sackcloth because it's also very absorbent. So it soaks up a lot of this. You just want to make sure, do a little bit on the back of your stencil too. Again, pigment ink doesn't go away as easily. So just be careful. I don't want you to put the stencil back down on the project and have an oopsie. All right, so now
Becca is telling everyone there are 2 new stencils coming in August. If anyone has not seen her comments there, they're pretty good too.
They're okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing because you were like, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good too. If you like fall, which Jen likes fall but still loves summer. I don't know.
I also have a love-hate relationship with fall. If it didn't mean my summer is ending and it didn't mean winter was coming, I would adore fall. I do like fall, but I just have a hard time loving it because it means summer is over.
Fair.
All right, Josie's being super patient because we're sharing stencils. Let us know in the chat, are any of you guys working together with friends in person? I saw some people, I think somebody commented in a Facebook group that they were having a friend over tonight. Be careful, this ink is still wet. Like you can even kind of see it still has a shine. So I'm just going to set this aside so I don't accidentally smudge it. And I'm going to wipe any extra ink left on my Make Art Station off. And we're going to do the same thing, well, similar thing with our other background. So I'm going to use some Tombow removable adhesive. Ooh.
Oh, man, Rebecca says we're both going to end up in Law and Fun gel. I'm not sure what I did.
Sorry, Joss. Thank you.
I love the stencils.
One of them, you and I kind of had a say in how it was designed.
True. Are we doing the same thing with this one?
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, use those top 2 banners and figure out where I want them on my card. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my magnets down in place. We are going to put the strings on our banners, but after. We want to make sure we get things dry first.
Okay.
And for this, what I did is I actually am going to do a little bit of peach fuzz over the whole banner. Then I'm going to do a little bit of bubble gum coming down the tops of the banners. We're going to clean the stencil. We're going to shift it to the right, and we're going to do pigment ink again.
Okay. Same thing, but not with the gray.
Yeah, just something different. So I'm going to start with Peach Fuzz. Ink up my brush, tap it off, and you're going to fill in these banners completely.
So it's not going to be
Danielle,
super dark because it's on a color.
Exactly. This is going to be very subtle because we're on a colored pattern paper, but I also think we sometimes forget that we can stencil on colored pattern paper. So I thought that this was a fun little reminder. It might make you think of different things to do. So I ink those up completely. Now, before I start bringing in bubble gum, I'm not going to move my stencil, but I'm going to take my flour sackcloth and I'm just wiping, oops, I did move it a little bit. I'm just wiping the stencil, excuse me, because that's going to pick up any leftover ink that's on the stencil, right? Because our stencil's a non-porous surface. So all of that extra ink is sitting there, and I don't want any more Peach Fuzz ink. I'm kind of done with that. So I'm going to take my brush for bubble gum. And what I'm going to do is come down on the top of these banners. I kind of want the tippity tips to remain pretty orange. I was kind of inspired by the gradient on this paper.
Making gradients on gradients.
Gradients on gradients. It's, again, very subtle, but it'll be really pretty.
It's actually pretty, just like this. Well, what I can see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cute. I know we're going to put stuff over it, but it's cute.
We don't have to move the stencil if you don't want to this time because it's not hard to clean. What I'm going to do is just take my flour sackcloth and wipe. That hippo is just really dark, but these lighter colors. But you could always take your stencil away if you want and reline it up. It's pretty easy to do.
Sorry.
But what we're going to do is just, again, take that stencil and just remember to shift it. Actually, this one I shifted to the left.
Oh. Changing it up.
Changing it up. Again, I got to keep everybody on their toes, Shari, or they won't come hang out with us. That would be really lonely.
I think they enjoy some predictability.
Right? So we're going to use that Yeti ink again. I'm going to kind of see what ink I have left in my tool. And what's neat about this is that your colored ink is going to start to kind of shine through the Yeti as well. We'll see what it looks like tonight. We might not see it as much tonight, but as things dry more and settle. And I also think this helps make it pop on that pattern paper.
She went back to the bed.
So cool. I just think it's so fun. All right, so we're going to do a quick clean on our stencil. If you're not using the stencil again tonight, you can wait and clean it later if you want, but I'm sharing with Josie. So I guess I'll clean. And then we're going to heat set these so we can add the string to our banners.
Oh, okay.
Because that white pigment ink takes a really long time to dry. And if you're in any of the areas of the world that have humidity right now, it's even going to take even longer. Just in time, Jose. I ran out of adhesive, so luckily we have like a little store downstairs. All right, so now what I recommend to heat these with your Ranger heat tool, not an embossing gun, because then you won't accidentally burn your paper, it won't scorch, and we just want to dry these so that pigment ink dries. Okay. Just explaining to you why I wasn't handing it. You're like, give me it. All right. And I find with the Ranger heat tool, any inky techniques or this type of drying that we're doing, lifting your paper up from your table surface will help the heat bounce off the table and heat it from the back, and the tool is heating it from the front. But if you're using an embossing gun, just be careful so that you don't burn your paper and make a mark. That will be a bummer. Thank you, Rebecca. And you can kind of touch it. You'll be able to see or feel if it's gonna smear on you. So what we're gonna do next, it doesn't matter which background you do first, but you're gonna go ahead and use that second stencil to add our little string on. And again, just make sure lawnfawn.com is readable, so you're at least starting it with it the right way up. I turned my stencil a little bit, so it just takes a minute to kind of figure out where this goes, but the little lines go right in between the triangles, so it's not super tricky.
Oh, Rebecca wants to know if you can heat emboss with that tool.
You can heat emboss with the Ranger tool. It just takes a smidge longer. I have done it when I'm lazy and my embossing gun isn't out. I use my Ranger heat tool so much more because I don't emboss all the time. So I've definitely done it. It just takes a little bit longer than what we're used to with our
it just doesn't get as hot.
Yeah, it's a diffused heat. It's not such a focused heat. So it just takes a little bit longer. Let's see. Laura says, are you lining up on the white or the gray?
I was about to ask that question.
It's kind of both because we just shifted over. We didn't shift up or down. But you essentially just want the strings to be in between the triangle. And I'm going to use the Hippo ink to add those strings on. I'm not adding those little starbursts on my background, so just be careful that you don't accidentally ink into those with your Hippo ink unless you really want them there.
And I traced mine with a pen.
There you go. Different. That works. So there's one, super cute. And then we'll go ahead and do the second one. And I didn't bother to clean my stencil because I'm using that same
gray
ink. We don't want to have to do more cleaning than's necessary. And I'm actually just really using whatever ink is left on my stencil for this one because it doesn't need to be really dark either. Super cute. Passing the torch, giving the stencils to Josie.
So she can have some stencil fun too.
Yeah. Oh, she probably wants blending brushes as well. Gosh, she's so needy.
Teacher was not prepared for a student in her studio today.
I mean, I kind of was, and I pulled her markers, but I wasn't. I mean, I have doubles of a lot of stuff downstairs, but this is working out fine. No, you're fine. All right. How's everybody doing? I missed it. I don't know if anybody told me they were working with friends tonight. I didn't look up after I asked.
What did you ask?
Linda says, is the Lawn Fawn glue supposed to be extremely runny? Sometimes when I have a new glue tube, it is like super excited to create with you and is a little bit more fluid. If you flew with your glue tube, they do not like to fly. They're kind of a pain after that. But you can always email info@lawnfawn.com if you're having any problems too. Okay, so we have our two backgrounds, and next what I think we'll do is work with our pinky one. Is this card 1, Shari?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the rainbow is card 2.
Yeah, so card 1, we are going to white emboss our sentiment on the bottom of this stitched rectangle, or your rectangle that you cut. And I've gone over this before in Create With Us, but I also know that people sometimes struggle to get a good white emboss. So I figured it's good to review and go over it and share my tips and tricks for that. So I'm going to say congrats. Have a very happy day. So I'm going to get those out. And what I love about Lawn Fawn Sentiments is that the stamp is cut into these little rectangles. So it makes it really, really easy to line them up just by having them touch, having them kiss. And I'm using the stitching on my rectangle to help line up along the bottom nice and straight. Just like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and just close my stamping platform down. And then I always just kind of look at the grid on my stamping platform once I close it down to see if things look straight. And whenever I'm white embossing, I like to use the Rabbit Hole Designs powder tool. And this, I dust it onto my paper. This is taking the static cling off. I also just really think it helps melt the powder better. And whenever I white emboss, I actually use a white pigment ink. I don't use Versamark or a clear embossing ink. I like to kind of do white on white. It helps make the white really stand out. And so I'm inking up my sentiment, and I'm going to go ahead and just gently stamp it. But I'm actually going to stamp it 2 or 3 times, because my theory is the first time you stamp it, a lot of that ink is soaking into the paper, and we want the ink to sit on top of the paper so that it grabs the powder really well. And I'm not pushing down hard because we don't want our little words to what word did I come up with? Sploosh?
Squoosh? Squoosh?
Sploosh? I don't know. It was a made up word, clearly. All right, so now that I've got it done 3 times, I'm gonna pick this up, move this aside, and then I've got my white embossing powder. And I'm just gonna use a spoon, pour that powder on, and then just tap the edge of the paper. Ooh, it's a good embossing day. Always makes me happy when there's no stray bivets.
You said sploosh.
Spoosh. Thank you.
I think that's right. Too. Like splashed and squished together.
Gotta add that to the Genism dictionary. There's a whole dictionary out there of Genisms. All right, so for this, I do use an embossing gun. I like to turn my embossing gun on a couple seconds before I touch it to or bring it to the paper. And I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me okay. I always think you're not going to be able to hear me, but I think that the sound does its magic. So now I just bring my embossing gun to my stamped words, and just as it turns and starts to smooth over, I move across the page. You don't want to leave your embossing gun in one area too long because it will make your paper turn brown. And then that is how I get a really nice, crisp, clean, white embossing. Oh no, Melissa, so sorry. Good thing there's a replay. You doing good over there, Miss Jose?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out which ones you did.
I only did the 2 tops. Yeah, and you can angle them however you would like. I sent you out of the room when I was doing it, so.
You can do whatever you want, Josie. There's no rules.
What Shari said. Josie helps me a lot with my class handouts. And Josie, for those of you guys that don't know, Josie and I have been friends since college. We randomly got roomed together in Room Draw. And we have been best friends ever since, chosen family members. But so she helps me a lot with my class handouts. And I just assume she can read my mind. And a lot of the time she can, actually.
To point.
It's really funny. Like sometimes she's like asking me a question, but she's deciphered it so well to get to the point where she has a question. I'm like, how did you even get this far? But
your brains are becoming one.
Pretty much. Yeah, just like that's scary.
I wasn't going to say it, Josie. I'm glad you said it and not me.
I don't need Jen's brain. Nobody.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't.
All right. So we have that sentiment on there. So let's go ahead and keep working with that card. Brenda says she has a bridal shower this weekend, so she's working on projects for that, and she'll be back to making cards next week. I bet that's fun, crafty stuff that you're working on, though. I helped Josie with all of her bridal shower and wedding stuff as well. That was fun. That seems like a long time ago. Like, Josie and I talk all the time about how we don't feel like we're aging because neither of us have children. So, and you might feel this way too, Shari. Like, you just don't sense the time moving as much. But when I just mentioned Josie's wedding, my brain was like, that was a really long time ago. How many years ago was it? What's your anniversary this year?
Is it 15 or 16? 15?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. Yeah. 15. It'll be 15 next year for me and Matt.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Ooh. Pre-Chris.
And we dated for 4 years before we got married, so that's a long time.
A long time. All right, so I am adding this to some more pattern paper, just flat with my tape runner. Again, this is all from that Gleeful Gardens paper pad. It's so pretty.
Gradient. You said gardens. Gleeful Gradients. Gleeful
Oh,
Gardens is a
Gleeful
stamp set.
Gardens is a stamp
I
set.
do it
Sorry.
all the time, constantly too. It's
And
fine.
one of Kelly's favorite stamp sets.
I know. I'm sure that's a nightmare in the office right now.
And Brenda says, working on the bridal shower stuff, she says, it is fun. I get to dig through all kinds of supplies. Oh my gosh, I bet you're having so much fun. Nikki's celebrating 26 years with her husband in September.
Wow.
And Rebecca just celebrated 20 years.
26
Happy anniversary, years. Everybody.
Nikki was, much younger than us, but maybe she's not.
Yeah,
I got married later in life. A little later in life. I didn't get married very much.
I'm clearly getting married later in life. Since I'm not married yet.
You just already are. You just don't know it.
Well, that's what Jen and Lindsay were saying at the beach this weekend. She goes, you and Chris are probably secretly married and nobody knows. Linda says that you and I have a mind meld.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
So I did all peach fuzz and then I dusted bubblegum down the top. Oh, and then you shift it and then you pounce with the white ink.
Oh, on both of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure one I shifted one way and one I shifted the other way. Yep.
Well, Nikki is about the same age as us, but she got married at 19.
Oh. That's why. I did know Nikki was close to our age. And I think Nikki's a May birthday too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, Nikki, are you a May baby?
I think she is.
So maybe.
Okay, so we are going to add all of our little fun stuff on. I am going to start by adding my cake. I got to get some foam squares.
You're popping it all up?
Most of it. We're going to tuck some fruit flat. But we're going to start with our medium cake.
Oh, May the 4th, Nikki. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Aw, Angel just celebrated 40 years in June. Heather's known her husband for over 20 years and have been married for 10. Chris and I are going to celebrate 13 years dating next week. Everybody always assumes we're married. And I'm like, nope, not yet. Annie says, don't worry about getting married later in life. I was 50 when we got married. My sister was horrified that I didn't pick a date before my birthday.
What? Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Oh, congratulations, Lori. She just got engaged in Paris.
Oh, wow.
And Mary Lou just celebrated 48 years. I love this. This is so fun. All right, so I popped up the baby cake on the medium cake, and then we're going to do our little capybara that has the bird that's facing the right. I'm being really good, and I'm actually putting my little squares in my little dish over here because my desk is so clean right now. It's really nice.
I'm guessing that Erin's wedding anniversary must be May the 4th. It says a super geeky themed wedding.
Dee's celebrating 24 years. Courtney says, I've only been dating my boyfriend for 2 months. Ha ha ha. Hey, gotta start somewhere, Courtney.
You have to start somewhere.
It's 2 months, and then before you know it, it'll be 13 years like Chris.
Right.
I love it. I love that I'm reading everything. I love that you guys are all chiming in with your anniversaries. This is so fun. This is the chat part of Create With Us. All right, so now we're going to add another little baby capybara on the left side, facing right, with some foam squares. And then you have 2 little loose oranges, and I'm going to tuck those underneath the cake on the right side. So I like to just add a little dot of glue tube to my card. Kind of like exactly how I put sequins on. And then I'm going to put another little one on the left side underneath that baby cafe.
Heather, my husband literally just walked in the door from work and said, "Get yourself some of those stamps for our anniversary tomorrow."
Aw, that's so cute.
That's
Plus,
great.
it just gets him off the hook, right?
Get you some of them stamps.
Get you some of those stamps. You get what you want, and he's off the hook.
You just tell him you also got him some of those stamps for you.
Aw, Kelsey says 15 years dating. Same as Jen. The commitment is what's important. Exactly. All right, so we're going to add 2 little strawberries to this cake. And so again, I'm adding them flat. So I'm just adding little dots of glue tube where I want my strawberries. And then I'm going to place them down, and I'm going to put the shadow at the bottom. This one's not going to bother me like the other one. Oh my gosh, so cute. I love it so much. And then I love all of these fun little sentiments that have been coming in the Lawn Fawn sets lately. They're great to use on their own like we're doing tonight, or you can grab a speech bubble from another stamp set. But I'm going to add your Citrusly Awesome.
Citrusly Awesome.
Citrusly. Indy says, how many foam square sheets do you go through in a year? I don't keep track of that. I keep track of my quickie glue pens, but not the foam square. And we're going to just tuck this in right here.
Nikki has requested a pineapple from her husband who is in Hawaii. She said, "We'll see." Is he going to
be allowed to carry that home?
I think you can if you
claim it.
Check it. Yeah, like they just have to inspect it.
Okay. I don't remember the rules.
Like I brought a plumeria root that I bought there.
Oh, I love it. Heather says, just hit 28 years married, 32 years together, but we're still kids. I love it. I love that thought.
Same.
And Christina, I am totally thinking of you and sending you hugs. She says, I just want to share because I miss my hubby so much. Last Monday would have been 40 years for us. Oh. I was lucky to at least have him for 38 years. Miss my funny guy and best friend. So sending you some hugs, Christina. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to these banners, but I am going to wait a minute. Let's go ahead and do our other card. So cute. I love this gradient. I love it.
They're really good papers.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe we can have these be forever papers. I have my opinion of some forever papers we could let go away so we could have room for these.
Make a note, Rebecca. I think these would be some forever papers. But always, like, sometimes we throw in when we need to have some more 12 by 12 order. And
I know space
forever
is tight in Southern California, so I totally understand why we can't have all the papers be forever papers, but I would love these to be forever papers. But don't touch my spiffy speckles.
I don't think we can.
Or really rainbow, because that just never gets old. I use those a lot. All right, so we're adding this background to another piece of pattern paper. So we have that cute little border. And I am going to start by doing my sentiment. Because I'm not white embossing, I am going to be brave, and I'm going to do it on an acrylic block, which is how I do most of my sentiments. I don't always do it this way live, though. This is actually being very brave.
Being very brave. I just do it
With an acrylic block?
all the time.
Yeah, I do all the time, but when I'm live, I get nervous because I don't want to mess up and have to figure something out.
I do it on videos, although to be fair, if I mess
You
up,
could edit it out.
but
Yeah.
I don't usually. I usually do pretty good.
So we're going to stamp this right at the bottom. I am raising it up a little bit just to kind of not have it as close to the bottom as the other one. Whew.
I mean, it's the thrill of the stamp.
Listen, I love an acrylic block. It's just the pressure of being live. That's all.
There's always a way to fix it, which is the sentiment banner.
Yep. Sentiment banner for the win.
Your best
Always.
friend. Always.
All right. So now everything on this card is popped up with foam squares. I know many of you are surprised by this. I'm going to grab a couple.
I have to get another sheet of foam squares at this point.
I was going to say, I'm going to use some big foam squares to speed up the process here.
I've been using my squares the past 2 days.
Yeah, Rebecca says, so brave. I always use a Misty, and Kelly laughs at me. Yeah, Kelly and I are definitely acrylic block girls. All those wood-mounted stamping days. I'm so excited, you guys, because part of getting everything situated downstairs, when Chris and I lived in Rhode Island and in previous apartments, I've had my shelves that I would store all my wood-mounted stamps on. And I have dwindled my stamps over the years, but my most favorite stamps I'm never getting rid of till the day I die. But there's going to be room downstairs for the stamp shelves, and I'm going to be able to display my wood-mounted stamps again and just enjoy looking at them.
I don't have a whole lot. I don't have enough to justify a shelf.
Oh, I had a lot.
I never had that many. I still have my first one up here on this shelf above my desk.
That's fun. That's fun. Rebecca says, I feel like we need stock and foam squares. I agree. I just placed a really big order with 3L at the show. They called and they're like, you know that they come in units of 5. And I'm like, yep. Yep.
I'm aware. Don't worry. They'll get used.
Give me all the foam squares.
Be like, they don't have an expiration date. They're not going to go bad.
We always need more. Foam squares aren't going to go out of style. All right, so what I did is I popped up this little guy on the right, and the cake is popped up. So this little guy that's going to overlap both of them, I'm just adding a little glue tube for that.
You're not extra popping him.
Well, it's just not necessary, you know? Like, I love me my foam squares, but sometimes you can just use a little glue tube. And then we're going to add this little guy on the left. This is a whole party happening on this card.
It is a whole party.
And what I'm going to do next is add all this fun little stamping. And I really do think this type of stamping is much easier with an acrylic block.
Just be careful to not get ink on your block.
On where?
On the block, like it might touch.
That's a good tip. Yeah, don't get ink on your block because then
you get some ink on your block, wipe it off before you stamp onto your card because you could touch when you're popped up images. It's basically what I'm getting at.
That's a good tip.
Good tip. And then you'd be really sad and you'd have to rip a capybara off and try to stick a new one on.
Oh my gosh.
And it would get ugly.
So I'm adding this little copy birthday to you. I love that it's like in a little wave.
I just dumped stars all over my desk.
Stars? What are you doing with stars?
I pulled out all the little stars that I cut all the time because I just keep them everywhere. I was adding stars and then I hit the little tray and they just went, psh. You guys can't see my desk, so you didn't get to see the confetti I just threw everywhere. It's all good. I think there's stars all over my floor too. I need to vacuum.
Heather said, let's see. Oh, wow. Heather says, on the subject of weddings, I made my bridesmaid boxes with individual woodblock stamps. I had to stamp every single letter freehand. I'd never been more stressed.
Oh my God.
It came out amazing.
I stamped all my wedding favors, but they were Lawn Fawn clear stamps. I could see what I was doing.
All right, so now I'm using the little confetti stamp and just adding some confetti. I would recommend making sure you kind of turn your block so that the confetti is not all going the same way.
The same direction.
Yeah. Cute. So cute. And then, as I mentioned, I did add some glitter to my banners.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just explain to you guys how I did that. Because obviously our card is already put together. I mean, mine's not on card bases yet, but that's no surprise. So what I am going to do is add a line of glitter on one side of the banners. And I only add the glue to like 2 or 3 of them at once. And then I'm going to use the cap on the back of the pen like a scoop. And I'm just going to bring up a little bit of glitter and put it where I drew that line, right? And then you just tap it off. And this is why I like my glitter storage container, because it's nice and big and there's less chance of glitter spilling everywhere. I know glitter gets a bad rap in the craft world, but I do truly feel everybody can be clean with Prismaglitter if you follow my tips and tricks. I glitter almost every day, and sadly, my house is not sparkly.
Sadly.
I mean, I love me my glitter, so I wouldn't be mad about it.
Oh no, I think I'm stuck again.
No, you're not. Oh, maybe she is. I think she's not because I can hear her and she's moving. But there she goes. She's going to leave. I'm just going to kick her out. Put her in a Lawn Fawn jail. She can come back. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the weather or a software issue. I'll have to look into it. And I see that a couple people are popping in late and they're glad there's the replay because they're going to watch later. Remember, you guys, we love to see what you created. Again, if you're using completely different supplies than us, that's totally okay. Make sure you tag Lawn Fawn, and you can tag me, Jen Shirkus. I work hard on designing these cards for you guys and making the handouts and stuff. So it's super exciting for me to kind of see what you made. I love teaching in person, and I love teaching online, but I do miss when we're online. I don't get to see how your projects are turning out. So definitely share that with me. And we're finishing up. We'll see if Shari rings back in. We'll see if I let her back in. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I will. I think what's happening on Shari's end is it's dropping. So even though we can hear and see her, she no longer can hear and see me. So, but we're finishing up, and then I do want to share with you guys some fun stuff that is coming up. And we did go over some sneak peeks. Nobody asked a question I wanted you all to ask because Shari and I had a fun thing we were going to say together. But there is going to be a new critter. The fall release will be on its own on August 14th. Rebecca shared that there are some new stencils coming. I think that was all the secrets that were shared. Ooh, Tiffany's playing with the new birthday candle stencils. So fun. I love those stencils. And Pam says it's probably the thunderstorms on Shari's end. That's what I am guessing. I'm thinking it's a weather issue. She's not ringing through, so I'm kind of guessing maybe she's done for the night. But I know she'll share her cards on her Instagram stories, and then we usually reshare them over on Lawn Fawn's stories as well. Oh yes, thank you, Rebecca. The other secret that we said is there is a new critter coming. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, just a touch of sparkle, right? And I like Prisma glitter and the Quickie glue pen. I like stickles too. You can glitter with everything and I'm happy. But what I like about the Quickie glue pen and the Prisma glitter is that you can get really nice detail, like a little bit of detail. So yeah. Let's see. Will you be teaching with the fall sets, Jen? Oh, yes, I will. So on release day, which is August 14th, we will announce what the next Create With Us is. So you guys can mark your calendar and get ready for that. And also on release day, I always announce the details of my upcoming online classes. So stay tuned for that. So I'm going to flip over to show you guys. Oh, I keep forgetting I have a fancy button. Coming up in Creative Land next week, I will be teaching online my I Scream, You Scream class. Oh, here's Shari. So we won't just have a blue bubble. There she is. So I'm going to be teaching my online class, I Scream, You Scream. It's July 18th, which is a Friday. I typically do teach my online classes on the weekends, but in the summer, I got to get my mermaid time in. So I teach it on a Friday, but just like this Create With Us, you can take the class whenever it works into your schedule. I also wanted to let you guys know I do have kits available for this class. So if you don't want to do the prep work, everything will be done for you. Everything's pre-stamped and pre-die cut. Super, super fun. I love these cards so much. It might be because I'm obsessed with ice cream. And then July 24th, Shari and I will be live again here on Lawn Fawn's YouTube channel for Adventures in Card Making. Do you want to kind of explain that, Shari, since you're back and they're probably done hearing me talk?
I see I'm up there now. I was like, I'm back, but no one can see me. Yeah, Adventures in Card Making is just us casually crafting. There's not a class, there's not a handout, but what we do is we come up with some polls. We usually do 3, and I will post them on Lawn Fawn's Instagram stories. So you have to be on the Instagram stories to vote, and they're up for 24 hours, and whatever you vote on, that's what we use. So we usually do like this stamp set or this stamp set. Sometimes we do a theme. Sometimes we do a coloring medium. What else have we done? Paper versus...
Yeah, like pattern paper versus stencils, interactive.
Wine.
Yeah, all different things.
fun. It's just like a fun way to challenge yourself, especially like if you're stuck. Sometimes I feel like if you have some parameters and you're like, oh, it's a challenge to use these 3 things and make something fun. And then, you know,
Yeah.
both of us make something different.
Yep.
It's never the same.
Well, because we have very different styles, like,
Yeah.
which is fun.
So it's fun to see what we come up with. Sometimes I have a plan, sometimes I don't. Jen never has a plan, hardly.
I never have a plan.
It's the way, it's different ways in which we work, though. Like, that's my brain, that, and Jen doesn't as much as me. But it's just fun and casual. There's no handouts or class. Just come and join us and chat.
Yeah, so after tonight's live ends, or if you're watching the replay, you can go over to the live tab on Lawn Fawn's YouTube channel, and you'll find the July 24th one is already scheduled. So you can tap the little bell because life gets busy and you might forget. And then when we go live, you'll be notified. So you'll be reminded to come see us. And if you can't join us, it'll remind you to catch the replay. Hi, Scout.
Hi.
There's her face. And then in August, again, like I mentioned, I'm doing Creative Crate with Firefly Farm, Camp Firefly. My class happens to be on August 14th, which is Lawn Fawn release day, which is just making it so much more special. And I'll be teaching with the new fall release. And attendees, it's an online event, it's open worldwide. Attendees will get some new Lawn Fawn product and will also get card kits from me as well. So super, super fun event. There's a bunch of other really amazing brands that are part of this event. And I have all the details for all 3 of these things over on my website, which is shirkus.com, which is my last name. So yeah, anything else that we're missing? We've got Inspiration Week
starts Monday. No, I guess that's it.
How much is Scout charging for all those kisses?
I know, right?
Scout, all those kisses.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're about to get riled up, aren't you?
Oh, she's getting riled up. Getting wild and crazy. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And as we said, Kelly Marie, I know misses all of you, and we will be back again. I'm guessing our next one will probably be in September. We don't have the date set yet, but just thinking about release day and all that jazz. But stay tuned. Make sure you're following Lawn Fawn on all the things and follow me on all the things, and then you won't miss out on all the things. All right, you guys, have a fabulous night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.